Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and I'm so happy to be here with Steph the Alternate as we break down what is this Amber Heard's first magazine cover interview in the Italian magazine F. Well, Steph, I think they need to add a U to that cover for having her on there, but I want to break something down. All right, Steph, you speak Italian. You were able to help translate this. Before we get to your thoughts, because you have some good ones, I do want to clarify for our viewers, because people have been sending this over. This is not a interview. There are no quotes from Amber. These are even old photos of Amber. I was originally not even going to really make a report on this, but Steph made some very good points. And after she did her translations, you really do believe, and you've sold me, this is clearly a sneaky way for her PR team to put her in. The timing is just too convenient for this literally front page article for her in Italian magazine that's spread out around the areas where she's traveling to put in more good word for her. Steph, tell us about it. What are your theories here as you were translating this article?
So firstly, yeah, the timing of this is not a coincidence. It's absolutely suspect, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Literally on the heels of her submitting the appeal finally, then all of a sudden, she's appearing for the first time, to my knowledge, front page on a magazine. Now, granted, it's a European magazine. It's in Italy. This magazine is extremely established. They've been going for over 10 years now. For me, it's a major PR move on Amber Heard's part to try and bolster her image on this side of the pond. And the reason why I say that in particular is because I think it's pretty obvious she has lost on the American side court of public opinion. Like, absolutely, totally. She is done. Amber Heard is finished where that's concerned. Thing is, though, over on this side of the pond, so England, Europe, she can rely on the notion that, well, hang on a minute, on this side, in her mind anyway, she won against Johnny. Now, that's not entirely correct because it's the son that won against Johnny, but that's by the by. She's spinning it that she won against Johnny over on this side of the pond with our courts. So I think with the timing of her appeal that she's just submitted and this magazine at this side of the pond, I think she's trying to grow a swell of support from the public over at this end so that she has her own public army to try and combat the Justice for Johnny Depp crew.
Now, again, help me to understand on the front page here. What is it saying here? The quanto addio contro de me. What is this? What is actually being said here?
So on the front page there, what it's essentially saying is something along the lines of "there's so much hate against me." It's already like, oh, poor me. There's so much hate against me. Already, you know, it's going to be an Amber Heard puff piece. Totally.
Right. So it's like, but it also is making it's what's weird about this article is because I got tricked too. Like it seemed like, oh, she's done press, like she's doing a piece, she's getting a magazine cover, but it's very sly because it has the look of that, but then she hasn't said a word or given them anything. But why on earth would they have done this without approval? Right? There's no quotes from her, are there?
Well, not exactly, but I think there's clear indications that this has come from her or her PR team, at the very least, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. If you look under the section, the subtitle of Il Bersaglio Perfetto, which is a translation of the perfect target, it says, the translation is, after the verdict, after selling her house in California and filing for bankruptcy, it seems that Amber moved to Mallorca with a daughter, Una Page, born of a surrogate mother, and girlfriend, Bianca Butti. Choices that only fuel speculation about the strangeness of this beautiful Texan who has never really made it into the cinema, blah, blah, blah. This bit here indicates that I really do think it's come from Amber or her team. Reason being is because they're confirming that she's moved to Spain, to Mallorca. I don't think that confirmation has ever really been made publicly before. Or also confirming that her girlfriend now is Bianca Butti. Well, last time I checked, I thought it was a certain other someone who likes to mouth off on Twitter, Eve Fartlow. So yeah, it's just, little pieces of information like that seems to be confirmed indicates to me that I really, really do think that this has come from Amber, or at the very least, Amber's PR team.
There was another portion here at the end you wanted to call out here under the double truth, right? This translation you had done. Trial of Amber Heard has ended. The judicial truth is that she is guilty of defaming the ex-husband. On human truth, on the other hand, it is legitimate to have opinions. In this case, that Amber has been the victim of mistreatment and has reached violently to violence. How can you better explain what does that mean?
So again, I think this is another example of this article coming from Amber, or again, Amber's PR team, because what they're now trying to do is they're now trying to spin Johnny's win. They're turning around and they're essentially saying, do you know what? Right. Legally, yeah, Johnny won. Right. And she was found guilty of defaming Johnny, this, that, and the other. However, on a human level, it doesn't then mean to say that Amber hasn't been a victim of mistreatment and reacted violently to the violence that apparently, according to her mind, Johnny Depp made to her. It's very, very reminiscent of an argument that they're trying to make in the appeal that I did a video on last night on my channel, which was this. Turning around and saying, look, literally on the appeal itself, Johnny Depp, it's not had to essentially prove that, Amber Heard wasn't crazy when she was turning around and saying that, in her reality, her perspective, that Johnny Depp was being a monster to her. This kind of bit in the double truth is literally mirroring that part that I was discussing in my video from last night on my channel. It's too much of a coincidence that it's mirroring part of her appeal, this part. The whole, and I go into it in a little bit more detail, the whole argument of, well, if you can't, the argument of trying to prove non-existence, basically. It's insane and it's a fallacy, but yeah, that's what they're trying to go at here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the same talking points as we've gone, and there's a lot more to it. I don't want to bore you all with it because it just is a puff piece. I mean, it breaks down stuff, but it's a weird clickbaity article that sort of uses this cover story, it feels like, to sort of like make it seem like Amber's done something. And I would have just ignored it, but Steph says F Magazine is, a real magazine out there that's been around. So it's odd, their choice, and to do a whole piece on her and a cover story on her without actual art, insight or quotes, unless they were working closely with the team to maybe get something later. Like, hey, well, because this happens all the time, Steph, right? Publications and news outlets will hold stories. I think we saw that with the Ezra Miller thing. Like, Hollywood Reporter was literally holding back reports clearly to try to get something later or carry favor in some other stories that they had. This happens all the time. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if this was an opportunity for the magazine to try and sell some magazines, even just hate buying, you know what I mean? Or hate clicks to be like, why is she on there? Or her supporters be like, oh, look, it's press for the magazine and potentially an opportunity to score the interview later. It's what a lot of these outlets do. So yeah, there's something off about this. It's definitely strange. And we may go through the full, I can read some of this more later today on our live. So make sure you join us around 12 or 1, between 12 and 1 Eastern Standard Time is the time zones I'm always trying to aim for. So I hope to see you guys there as we break it down. In fact, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for all alerts so you get notified, smash that like button and leave a comment down below. What do you think? Do you agree with Steph here? Is this just too convenient convenient of a timing. Steph, really good reporting, good catch, good translations. Make sure you go support her as well over at Steph the Alternate. Look it up on screen. You'll support her. Get her to 50K. Oh my God, we're so close to 50,000 subscribers. You might be the 50,000th subscriber. So go hit that subscribe over on Steph the Alternate next. And stay tuned. We'll be live later today. Thanks for watching. Make sure to tune in to these videos as well. Thanks, everybody.